Welcome to Opening Bid. I'm Yahoo Finance Executive Editor Brian Sozzi. To close out 2024, like many of you, we've been reflecting on the year we've had while also eyeing a holiday self-purchase or three. May I recommend a one-year subscription to Yahoo Finance Premium for a loved one? Anywho, we have had endless amazing guests who brought us top investing insights, big tech predictions, big stock calls, and in-depth market outlooks. Shout out EMJ Capital founder Eric Jackson for his hugely right call on AI darling NVIDIA. And though all of our guests are amazing, I want to bring you a few of my favorite comments of the year, a Sozzi special, if you will. First up, with incredible humanitarian work around the globe, Howard Buffett needs little introduction. We cover many topics like his work helping farmers in Ukraine, as well as the legacy of his father, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. Take a listen.
You're the next chairman at some point, whenever that might be, of Berkshire Hathaway. Let's assume that happens. How does your life change? Of course, you've been on the board for some time of Berkshire, but how does your day-to-day change from what it might be now?
Well, it changes a lot in terms of probably where I travel to begin with, because I travel internationally all the time. I've been to 154, 155 countries or something, and I'm on the road a lot. I've been in Ukraine 5 times in 2022, and same thing 5 times in 2023, and probably 4 or 5 times this year. So, those are trips I won't make. And I've been in Colombia this year. Those are trips I won't make. I will need to keep in mind that I need to be around to do my job and my responsibility. So I think, the risk level of what I do in my life today probably gets decreased. If you look at what I've done throughout my life, every 7 to 10 years, I've kind of recreated what career I'm in. I mean, because I'm curious, I want to learn new things, and I love doing new things. And so, when the time comes, my life will change some, and I won't be running the company. I was a non-executive chairman, so my job will be support Greg in every way that I can. But I won't. I will change some of what I do out of the fact that both my brother and sister and I will have a huge charitable trust that we're responsible for, and also my sister and I being on the Berkshire board will have that responsibility. So I think I refocus a little bit. Maybe that's the way to put it.
I think it's been said that you will be the guardian of Berkshire's culture. For the people that haven't seen it from your perspective, what is that culture like? Why does Berkshire just work?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because my dad's a lot more simple in terms of the kind of person he is, what he does. I mean, he's very sophisticated in terms of business. Don't get me wrong, but none of us own yachts. None of us have, vacation houses in France. None of us have, I didn't grow up that way. That isn't how he lives. So, it's really pretty simple. And so that the way he is personally just comes through in Berkshire. And so he is somebody who believes in integrity is number one. You treat people fairly. You don't do a deal with a bad guy because it's never going to turn out right. So you try to pick your partners selectively and be smart about it. And so, it's not complicated. I mean, it's really simple.
No, you're being no. It's complicated. I mean,
Brian, people make things more complicated than they need to be. They really do. Yep. And Berkshire's got a great board. They got great management. Greg and Ajit are phenomenal. And so, it's a great company, and people can always find reasons they don't like a company or they don't like what management's doing. When I worked at ADM, I did something one time and I thought I was going to probably get fired, but I had investor relations as one of my responsibilities, and I have to tell you, I didn't like it. But
it's not a fun job. It's not a fun job.
No,
who wants to talk to Wall Street? Nobody wants to talk to Wall Street.
No, but you have a lot of people who are mad at you all the time. So, I had this guy call me who called me, I don't know how many times, every couple of weeks, and he was just mad about something, and ADM did this wrong and they did that wrong. And so I said to him, I said, look, just take today's price and I'll pay you a 10% premium, sell me your stock, I'll buy it personally, and then go buy something you like. Then So I never heard from him again. I never had to buy stock, but I went in and I told Dwayne what I did. He says, "That's a great idea." And I said, "Yeah, the problem is I can't afford to do that with everybody that calls me. So I said, I need a bigger piggy bank." But, I mean, people, they sometimes they expect things that aren't reasonable. Sometimes they just get mad over things. I mean, people complicate things just by the nature of how they behave. And Berkshire's culture is pretty simple. I mean, you do what you say you're going to do, and you do it when you say you're going to do it, and you're honest about it. You make mistakes, and you accept responsibility for those mistakes. And I think anybody runs a business like that, and there's plenty of businesses that are run like that. But that is, we try to run our foundation that way. I mean, it's really not that complicated.
Could Berkshire ever be replicated? I see so many young adults, they want to create the next great AI company or social media platform, but I don't know, why don't they try to take a page out of Warren Buffett and try to create something lasting and durable and with competitive advantages like a Berkshire? I mean, if I wanted to today, I mean, could I try to do something like that?
I think it'd be hard, but I mean, I don't, and I kind of follow the same rule in my personal life, which is, of how you just described it. I mean, I own a certain amount of stocks. I don't buy and trade. I mean, I probably haven't traded a stock for, years. If you can be reasonably smart about what you buy, and then you hold it and look at the appreciation that we've had in the stock market. And of course we'll have some adjustment at some point, and everybody gets nervous, and then it'll come back. But you're in a country that is really, we may not be in the top in every category if you go down and you look at things analytically, but in terms of the opportunity people have in this country to go out and be entrepreneurs, be innovators, take risks, that still exists today, just like it did 20 or 30 years ago. So, I mean, we live in an amazing country that way. I mean, we are in a scary period in terms of where we are politically, in terms of how polarized things are. But the economy continues to move on, and I think we're very fortunate to be in the country that we are in.
Next up is the race car loving Ford CEO Jim Farley. Big Jim clued us into the future of automobile technology, including EVs and AI. He even revealed that he texts with Tesla's billionaire founder Elon Musk. You all don't know, but I am a huge car guy, so I just love speaking with Mr. Farley. Enjoy.
What is your view on where the car will be? In our lifetime, does a car drive by itself? I see what a company in China like Xpeng is doing, flying cars. To me, it looks like a helicopter, whatever the hell it is. I mean, what does the next 30 years look like for the actual physical thing that's a car?
I don't think really anyone with a lot of confidence can tell you what 30 years looks like. But it's pretty clear to us what the next 5 to 10 years look like. It's not going to be a future that's only EVs. It'll be a mixed powertrain of EREVs, PHEVs, hybrids, pure ICE, if you're towing something, and electrics. And electrics will be a big part of the industry, but not the only part of the industry. We're going to have a lot of software in our lives. The trips are going to change. The trips are not going to be from point A to point B with just bringing in your mobile device and kind of basically catching up with the rest of your life. Trips are going to be different now. With level 3 autonomy, where you're going to be able to take your eyes off the road on a sunny day on the highway in 2 years, people are going to do conference calls. They're going to do.
Can I talk to you? Will my car be able to talk to you? Like if you pass me by,
of course,
I'm like, that's Jim Farley in his Mustang.
But you would have to give it permission to share your data, but just like your phone. But absolutely, and that makes the whole transportation industry a lot safer if the cars can talk to each other. We have 1,500 semiconductors in the average Ford now, and it's the most technological product that I can think of. We have up 6 to 8 cameras in every car. We have radar systems. We'll have LiDAR systems. The cars are unbelievable, but they're also data capturing machines. It means we have to be really careful about people's privacy and about remotely controlling the vehicles, because they can be remotely controlled with autonomy. They can crash into things. There are a lot of dangers with the new digitally enabled products, and our policymakers have to catch up with that reality.
Are they even paying attention to it?
Yes, the U.S. government, the president issued an executive order a couple months ago. All aspects of the federal government are looking at, data privacy and autonomy and the policy around level 2 and level 3 autonomy. Forget about robo-taxis. There's a lot of exciting AV automated vehicle technology between robo-taxis and today that will be accessible to millions of people. We have over 26 million hours of Blue Cruise hands-free operation now. We have hundreds of thousands of people get up in the morning and press that button and drive hands-free now on highways. And we're starting to see the government engage in these important policy areas that will really have a big impact on people's daily lives.
Your counterpart at Tesla, Elon, views his company as an AI company. Is Ford an AI company?
I don't think we constrain ourselves that way. I mean, we're a passion company. We don't see our vehicles as appliances. They're not toasters on wheels.
No.
Or iPhones on wheels. Our vehicles do the daily work of building America through our Pro vehicles. The F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in the United States. And has been for 40 plus years because it's the most versatile product. We have an electric one, we have a hybrid one. The hybrid one can power your house for 6 days with Pro Power on board. And of course we have internal combustion F-150s. And with 2 rows of seating, you could practically live in an F-150. I'm sure someone out there is living in an F-150.
I'm sure they are.
So I think we have of course, our vehicles will be filled with AI, as they already are, to do Blue Cruise. But we don't limit ourselves that way. We want to build vehicles that people care about, that change the world, not just because they're efficient technology, but because they make people's lives better and because people care about them.
After the break, gold, whiskey, and Disney. What else could you need in life? Stay with us. Welcome back to our special Best of Opening Bid episode. Another one of my all-time favorites who I enjoy chatting with so much that we've welcomed her on the show twice, as well as the Yahoo Finance Invest Conference in November, economist Judy Shelton. She joined us before the presidential election with some very interesting commentary on the future of gold and, of course, Costco. Podcast. Gold prices have gone through the roof. I mean, I guess it's a Judy Shelton rally, right?
I think it's a rally, but it may have more to do with Costco stocking gold. It's a very trustworthy company. And I think it might reflect a collective yearning among consumers for real money. But it is a phenomenon. I think in the last year, it's probably up over 40%.
So we've talked in the past that, and you're a gold expert, you've spent a lot of your career studying gold, what drives it, what doesn't drive it. What does it say that that Costco, a retailer known for selling meat, bulk goods, is essentially selling about $300 million a month in physical gold bars? I mean, what is the economic read-through to someone that has studied gold for many years?
Well, when I've studied gold, it's been in the context of historical monetary systems and how economic performance is affected by the underlying monetary foundation. So I don't look at it as an investment, but as more a reflection. And I think that people have had a bit of a shock in the last 2 or 3 years, seeing real inflation getting up as high as 9%. But say since January of 2021, they've seen the dollar lose 20% of its purchasing power. And I think for some investors who buy at Costco, maybe they're just being savvy. I mean, they are making a profit. Other people might be very prudent. They're diversifying their portfolio. But I think it also is reflecting this yearning for real money. Gold is kind of a surrogate for the real economy. And it represents commodities, but also that traditional role of money you can trust. It's a meaningful unit of account. It works across borders. It has universal value, and it's highly recognized. It's a store of value. It doesn't mean gold is going to increase in its dollar value, but it probably does. And I think that it reminds people at one time, our own system was based on a specific weight of gold. So to say that today the dollar should be as good as gold is to say, let's learn from historic systems, because they did deliver some real benefits to people, including the right to convert at a pre-specified price your paper currency. That's what we're missing, is that accountability for our central bank, the Federal Reserve.
My view on gold is probably a lot simpler than yours. I was trained to view gold as one buys gold because they expect unrest at some future period of time. So I have that gold bar and I may need to use it to buy a loaf of bread. I mean, from an economic standpoint, do you see trouble ahead in the economy that would warrant going out and buying gold?
Well, I think the same people who are concerned about a sudden breakdown in civil obedience, kind of an apocalyptic scenario, do know that gold is seen as a medium of exchange automatically. It has that traditional role. I would say in a less hysterical way. I mean, I'm not saying these things won't happen, but let's say if we have a basic positive outlook for the geopolitical situation, we might nevertheless see gold as that safe haven that I think you're referring to, because hopefully we don't have to buy a loaf of bread with it, but it is a mainstay. In that sense, it's an alternative currency, a real currency that fulfills those functions.
Next up, Salesforce co-founder, chairman, and CEO Mark Benioff shared his outlook on AI agents, specifically how they can make a difference at his favorite place on earth, Disney. Listen in for his comments from Dreamforce 2024.
I just think that this idea that you're going to be working with autonomous agents is a more powerful, thoughtful concept inside a platform. You know, it's not just about your customers working with these agents. In the example with Disney, it's their employees that they're delivering a magical guest.
Your favorite place.
Well, it's my favorite place, and it's a magical experience, you know, for their cast members or their employees. And you know, I am the #1 Disney fanboy. I am. Mm-hmm. And I go to Disneyland all the time, and everybody should, maybe 4 times a year.
How do you find time for this stuff?
Brian,
I don't get
you're
it.
missing out on life.
Yeah, I really am.
And then I get a Disney guide because I don't like to stand in the lines. And the Disney guides now use, through a little bit of my cajoling and nudging, Salesforce to keep track of all the customer information, and Slack to collaborate with each other in the park, because that's a very important part of Disney guides. Because what happens is, it's a theme park. Everything is not running all the time, of course. That's normal. Because safety is #1 for Disney, as it should be. And now my vision and my dream and what I'm trying to have happen, what I hope will happen, is that Salesforce will appear on his phone and go, hey, I need to tell you something. I know you're on tour with Mark. Mark has already seen all these rides and done all this. He's been here 4 times this year. You're on your way to Rise of Resistance, are you? Yes, but it's down right now. You need a new choice. And the cast member says, what should I do? And the agent says, Toontown, A+. And it knows that because it looked across all the parks, California Adventure, Epcot Center, everywhere, and then said, based on flow control, based on current size and safety requirements and getting Mark around and how fast he can walk, we recommend this ride for Mark, and plug him in. And there's no way that the cast member is going to be able to look across all rides and all flow and all consumers and make that choice. But the working, where a human and an agent can work together, and that's my dream for Disney.
Bob Iger, hope you're watching here.
This is really amazing opportunity for Disney, and I love them. Like, I will spend as much of my time working with them as I can. I have for more than 10 years.
Mark, I think I would be the guy. If I saw you in Disney, I would stop and ask you about agent force and profit margins. I mean, that's what my life has become at this stage. I just can't shake this stuff. I can't get out of my head. What surprised me, or what surprised me just taking this all in, is like the speed at which all of this is developing. Does it feel like things are moving too fast?
No. I don't think things are moving too fast, but I do think a lot of customers are wasting their money trying to DIY it. Too many customers that I've met with personally are trying to DIY this next generation of AI. They're trying to take the model, the database, build a sharing model, build in security, hire a hyperscaler, and build all the framework and try to make it all work. And it reminds me a lot of the beginning of the industry when we started with the cloud, where I saw customers trying to do that with the cloud.
To close us out, a little on the nose for a holiday episode is our interview with Suntory CEO Tak Nianami. Here's his thoughts on the future of the alcohol industry as climate change continues.
And if you're thinking out 25 years from now, given what we're seeing with storm activity in the U.S., climate change, ocean levels rising, I mean, how is that going to change the business of alcohol? At the end of the day, to your point, I mean, you need water, you need clean water, you need access to these raw materials.
Well, first, because of the huge distortions, because we human beings emitted and still emitting lots of carbon, and that caused huge problems in the world. And weather is so bad, and take a look at the lots of natural disasters. So we corporate as Suntory, we have to give back to society like water conservancy, and we replenish water as much as we use, at least. And we educate the importance of natural water to children. So we do our best to do for the society, like to reserve nature and reserve forest, reserve water, and the biodiversity, like ocean pollution. And we are now working on recycling, which means we will change entire plastic bottles to sustainable plastic bottles.
That's hard to do with alcohol, right?
No, I mean, I'm talking about soft drink,
Okay.
but we use sometimes plastics. So that is causing lots of problems in ocean pollution, right? So we have to address social issues so that we can be appreciated by the community. And drinking is sometimes a huge criticism from society. But we are good citizens in society, and we are now promoting heavy drinking, moderate drinking. That creates good bonding among people. So we are talking about that. And plus, we are talking that we are doing great thing to society as the corporate citizen. So that's what we've been doing, and we will promote furthermore.
This time last year, this vodcast didn't even exist, folks. But now nearly 100 episodes later, Opening Bid has grown tremendously because of the hard work of our amazing Yahoo Finance team. And most importantly, all of you, our amazing listeners and viewers. Thank you for staying with us, and thank you for the daily support. We really do greatly appreciate it. So like I always say here, this is our latest episode of Opening Bid. Hit us with those likes, follows, and subscribe wherever you get your vodcasts, and join us for our first episode back after the holidays.